succession and exit strategies. He leads a study group of advanced planning professionals who work in collaboration with other advisors, serves as a co host for his podcast, Wealth Legacy Conversations, and co founded the nonprofit community focused Center for Wealth and Legacy, delivering numerous community events, including the Leadership Insights Forum. To go along with all of that, as if you need more, RJ is an 8-time philanthropic marathoner who runs to raise money for things like leukemia and lymphoma research and for landmine victims in Cambodia and Vietnam. And in addition to being devoted to those in need and in faith, he's also devoted to his extraordinary wife, Vivian. With all that street cred, RJ's not here to push out his best legal structures and tax beneficial ideas or his favorite financial products for us to help those building or transferring their wealth, though he's well suited to do so. He's really here to tell you about his journey and how you can become the mayor of your financial town through the strategies he's called on to be the mayor of his. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please meet my friend and give your virtual welcome and aloha to my friend and now your friend, RJ Kelly.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm telling you, I would go watch this guy change a light bulb somewhere. I mean, the fact is that if I knew that Stephen was doing it, number one, I know he would bring some innovation to the whole process. I've learned something, I'm sure, along the way. He would do it respectfully and he would do it very kindly towards others. And it would be a whole lot of fun. So anyway, Stephen, thank you, my friend. And I asked Brendan how long I've been a member of NAIFA. And it turns out I joined like in 1977. So don't worry, I'm not going to totter over on you. My life goal is to get to 147 because I want to see a new century come in. So I still got a long way to go. But anyway, I have been in NAIFA for quite a while. So my goals for today are perhaps a little bit like me, a little bit random. First of all, my path has not been traditional by any stretch of the imagination. So I want to speak out, do a shout out, hopefully to a few of you out there in the audience that are feeling like misfits, feeling like, what am I doing here? Those are the ones I really want to connect with because I've been there. I want to share with you though, what's been working for me now. Number of months ago now, I was approached by someone who came up to an event that I was at, and he said, you know, RJ, I see your face, your name everywhere between your posts on LinkedIn, the nonprofit events you do, your for-profit events for business owners. I mean, I'm beginning to think you're the mayor of the town. And as I laughed and assured him I was not the mayor, I know the mayor, and I'm definitely not the mayor. But nonetheless, as I was walking away, still chuckling, I thought, you know, there are some specific reasons why this has been, we've had 6 record years in a row. And now this is by far and away our 7th record year. By God's grace, top of the table. And we've already requalified for top of the table next year already so far this year. So there are some things that I just want to share with you, things that we're doing that have made a difference over time. And the last thing is, depending on our time, we've got a time for Q&A, but depending on how much time we've got left on the backside, I'm going to share a few more things with you, time permitting. So let me start on that early path, as Stephen alluded to. First of all, I was in college and I took I was approached by somebody to come into the life insurance industry. And my response to him was, well, I don't have no objection to sitting down and discussing it, but I really have no interest at all. And he said, well, since you have no objection, let's meet. And so boom, next thing I know, I am learning more about the life insurance industry as a career. And I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist, but I wanted to go and get experience of being in the business world, as my father, who had died when I was 18, but was a very successful business owner. So I wanted to do that. But first obstacle, I failed my exam, my aptitude exam. But the agency manager said, well, I'm supposed to not take you, but I still like what I see in you. I think you might be worth it. So I'm going to take a chance. So that was a hurdle I had to overcome. Fast forward to a conversation a number of years later with a friend from MDRT, Million Dollar Roundtable. And we were in a study group together, and we were just chatting, just having a coffee or something. And he said, RJ, I'm confused about something. I said, well, what's that, Ron? He said, you are by far the smartest guy in our group. You know so much about everything. You've got great people skills. I just don't understand why you're not making more money. and, and he meant it very kindly. I mean, he was truly perplexed. And as one of my other mentors, Ken Blanchard, he's a mentor to millions of us. Ken Blanchard says that money or income is just applause from clients for a job well done. But I got to say, it hurt, it stung. But there was also that part of me that was like, it reminded me of a high school conversation I had when I was a junior in high school, where this friend of mine, her name was Karen, she was a senior, I was a cheerleader. She said, RJ, the girls and I have been talking, and we've decided that one of these days, you're going to be really good looking. By the way, I'm still waiting for that to happen. So, it's just sort of that thing of, I've had this deathly fear of this dying at a permanent case with permanent potential. And I'm wondering if any of you out there listening to me have that same fear. You're just not sure if you're going to make it, and you don't want to die with a case of permanent potential. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've felt that way a bunch. So for me in my early career, I joined a small mutual company. There were about 400 agents. They were a very innovative company. I mean, they were the first company to come out with variable universal life way back when. So I very quickly rose to be in the top 10, but it was a big fish in a small pond. So I was struggling to really grow. And I qualified for MDRT my first full year in the business, but I didn't my second year. What happened? Here's what happened is that when I went to MDRT, I heard all these great ideas, and I heard people like Stephen Kagawa, and I go, wow, I want to be like him, or I want to be like Guy Baker. And I stopped doing what was working well for me. And I tried to be somebody else. So the first real quick tip, if nothing else you get from my presentation, is be authentically yourself, whatever that looks like. If you want to know a whole bunch about a whole bunch of things like me, okay, go for it. But if you want to be just very specific, a subject matter expert on disability insurance or on long-term care insurance or on life insurance, or maybe it's on assets under management, whatever it might be, just be yourself. Be authentically yourself. And I'm going to share some other ideas with you that have been so helpful to me to really embrace being myself, unique as it is. And I was offered an opportunity to go and leave my agency and to form a partnership of corporations with my mentor at the time and a couple of other agents. And I went to a NAFA event with the legendary John Savage. And I was so really torn. I loved the agency. I loved the company I was with, but I wanted to keep growing. He said something so profound to me that I remember it still to this day. And that is, RJ, it's not the company that you have as much as the company you keep that will make the biggest difference in your career. Now, for many of you, being in an agency system, that probably is the best choice for you. There's so many deep resources, great strategic alignment partnerships that you can enter into. But for me, that just wasn't it. So I made the decision to leave and go form my own company. And then shortly after that, I actually made the decision to move to San Diego, California, start all over again. I knew one person in San Diego. He was in the $1 Million Roundtable, and he wasn't buying a thing from me. So I had an opportunity, though, to come down, and I just decided I'm going to start over and put some new paths, put down some new routes, and create a whole new direction. So in '85, November, moved down, started all over again. So it gave me a chance to reinvent myself. And so I'd like to share with you today now, in the bulk of our time, what's working. Where are we finding the greatest success? What's opening the doors for ideas, not only now, but going forward? So one of the first ones is what I call a coffee connection or a wind down Wednesday. And this works beautifully, by the way, even in COVID shutdowns, although now, thankfully, we're finally getting the doors opened up, and we've been back in our office and seeing clients for quite a few months now. But whether you are still under lockdown or whether you can invite people into your office, this is such a fun idea. It was given to me by a good friend of mine, Lou Tranquilli in New Jersey. So he invited, and we do the same, 4 to 5 centers of influence. And we've also sometimes invited clients. We've invited prospective clients. The key is they have to be in different industries. So no 2 real estate agents, no 2 tax attorneys, no 2 so forth. So we provide really nice upscale drinks and snacks. In the morning, of course, it's coffee. And in the afternoon, it's adult beverages, wine, beer, along with sparkling sodas and other stuff. Everybody gets 8 minutes. And I have a timer to keep them honest. So they get to tell us, who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And most important, what's an ideal referral for you? Everybody's taking notes. So we know not only are we deepening relationships with each other, but we're finding ways that we can refer business to each other. And almost every time I end up with a referral from me too. I put this on because I want to help other people. But oh, by the way, it comes back to me in spades. We sent out nice invitations. And one of the most memorable ones, I had 4 women, as it turned out, all professionals in different aspects. They loved the fact that they had a guy waiting on them hand and foot in the morning. And they were having such a good time that finally by like 9:10, normally we finish up at 9. By 9:10, I finally said, ladies, I'm so sorry, but I know you're having a great time, but I've got to get to work. They said, okay, fine. So, we hugged and see you later. And then I watched them, and all 4 of them were standing out in the parking lot having just this great convivial conversation. And I've been told by a number of people in the future, RJ, thanks so much for inviting me to that event. We've had deep relationships with some of the people that were there. I actually have people who want to sign up in advance, people that are, I'm sorry, we don't have a room for you, but we can put you in on a waiting list. So that is super inexpensive. It's super easy to do. And it gives you a way to use those cards that you get at different events with attorneys and CPAs and bankers and stuff. And it gives you an excuse to bring them into your office and have them on your home turf. So Coffee Connection Wind Down Wednesday. Second idea is using handouts. And one of the most cost-effective, something that's in demand. We've started this a few years ago, and we've got now centers of influence and clients and stuff that just expect it and say, hey, RJ, can you get me the new one for the year? It's called Key Financial Data. It's from Horse's Mouth. If you're not familiar with them, check them out. We get a couple hundred of these that we give away every year. It costs maybe $300 or something, $350 for that. There's a front and a back, and they just pack everything you can imagine onto that one, the 2-sided document. It's also, you have permission to embed it in your footer of your email. So clients, prospective clients, centers of influence and stuff, when they get an email from me, boom, they can go click on this. And I personally myself use it 3, 4, 5 times a week as a reference. So the centers and so forth, they're seeing my picture, they're seeing our name, everything. And of course, it passes on to clients as well. So you find something that's a leave behind like that. Sometimes I even take that leave it as a business card as opposed to my regular business card. Okay, idea number 3. And I know I've been doing this long enough to know that there are people out there who your eyes just either went down or you rolled in the back of your head, because I'm talking about using social media and you're going, what? Why would I want to do that? Well, I'm here to tell you that this is probably one of the most powerful things that we've done. I mean, I don't tweet as much as I used to, but I used to tweet every single day. Now I've got a staff member who does it. I have a full-time marketing manager who is amazing. She's just incredible. But I swear that these millennials, they just know at birth when they're like at 2 months old, they have their first iPhone. And then at 3 months, they're already running their own empire on media. But I didn't think I would get referrals or business over LinkedIn. And we've got about 9,000 LinkedIn connections, which didn't happen right away. It took time. But I actually do get business. I have people look me up. They find articles that we've written. They find the videos we've done. They find interviews that I've done. And I've actually gotten business from clients that want to do their estate plan, want to do their business succession plan. So trust me, it actually does work. Now, where do you start? I don't care if you write an article a quarter, or maybe it's just a blog post, but start somewhere. And then eventually you can have, like I do, I have a marketing manager that's her job, is to help us. I've got an in-house attorney for 9 years, but I haven't always had. So he's very good as a writer. So am I. We create monthly newsletters ourselves, which leads into I'll show you that idea in a minute. But we also have automatic emails that we send out. And literally, we send out hundreds and hundreds of these every day. It's a quote by someone famous. So you can see here, you cannot live a perfect day without doing something for someone who will never be able to repay you. That's from famous coach John Wooden of UCLA Bruins. And then the action is, your action for today is to make an anonymous donation or do something nice for someone without them finding out that you did it. So, I mean, I literally have people that have been getting this from me for years saying, RJ, I've got hundreds of your quote actions saved. Now, it's not mine. It's a buddy of mine who puts these out. It cost me $27 a month for an unlimited number. The recipients can either do once a day, every two days a week or 1 day a week, and they can change it up or down. So again, it has our picture on it, it has our name, it has our address. So this goes out automatically. Once you get them set up in the system, you don't have to lift a finger, and it just happens automatically. Now, by the way, we'd love to give this to you as a gift. So if you're interested in being added to our quote action list, there's no cost to you, no obligation, nobody's going to call you. Just go text 22828. So if you just text 22828 to that number and just put in WLG, so 22828, that's the number you want to text to, and then just put in WLG, we'll know that you want to be added to quote action, and we'll be happy to do it. Okay, so here's the ID number 5 monthly newsletter. And yes, there's some great content out there that you can buy, that you can, maybe add your own paragraph or something to it. But, for me, I told you, I just do things my own way. So we have been making our own newsletters now for years and years. And because of that, we have content that's rich and deep on you name the topic. So if you go to our website, wealthlegacygroup.com, and you'll see under our newsletter section, it's divided up in different topics, and then you can go drill into that. So what's great is I just spoke for the 6th oldest Vistage group in the world last week. And so it was great because I could just pull up articles that I thought might be appropriate, print them off, and then hand it to them as one of the handouts for our presentation. So you just decide what you want to talk with clients about. You write an article. And by the way, so if you take all of your ideas on a topic from one person, what's that called? That's called plagiarism, and that's a very bad thing. But if you go out and you steal ideas from a whole bunch of people on a topic, what's that called? That's called research, and that's okay. So go out there. I tell my attorney, these are the things that I want you to go do some homework on. And then, so for example, this month, during our daily huddle, we have a 15-minute time every morning at 10:15 where we just quick unload what are top big 3 things for the day. And then one of the things we talked about today was what our article is going to be this month. And we're going to do it on famous people that died without a will or trust. And so again, and then you can see when Dorothy, I come up with the headlines usually, and then Olha, our marketing manager, comes up with these brilliant pictures, as you can see. We have Canva, and so we pay a modest fee so we get to use these different pictures. So anyway, you can make your own newsletters, the point of that, but you don't have to start there. Start with a blog. We do. It's possible today for less than $500. You can get studio equipment that is amazingly good. If you saw my desk here at home, and as opposed to my other desk at the office, you'd see I've got a lot of slick equipment that doesn't cost a whole lot. Studio quality mics and such. Plus we put on a lot of events. And so we record these, we do interviews with very famous people in a variety of different capacities and occupations. And it's just more content for our website, gets our name out there more, and it's fun. And plus I learn things. I love to learn. Make a decision right now that as long as you are in business, as long as you're on this earth, as long as you're on this side of the dirt, make the commitment that you are a lifelong learner. Stephen Kagawa did not get where he is by just, stopping reading, learning, studying. Yes, I've got a few credentials after my name. I got one more that's going to be adding in a month. I'm committed to being a lifelong learner. And that's how you stay sharp and fresh, and people want to be around you because of the kinds of things that you're learning and growing and being exposed to. Well, and I also, I'm going to do a shout out here for the American College. They have so many great programs, but I think one of the best ones right now is the Retirement Income Certified Professional Designation Program, the RICP. I'm telling you, there are a lot of financial advisors out there that are trained in helping people accumulate money, but sadly, there aren't very many of us that have been trained in how clients will decumulate money. And as I explain that to prospective clients, they get it. They get it very quickly. Because we're there to help them. If you fall going up an escalator, write this one down. You're going to use this one a lot. If you fall going up an escalator, you'll probably look around, see if anybody saw you, but you might have scraped your shin a little bit, but you'll probably be okay. But if you fall going down an escalator, you may never get back up again. And what's my point? How does that apply? If you're getting ready for retirement, what are the 4 most dangerous years of retirement? You know that? The 2 years just before you retire and the 2 years just after you retire. Because if you have a 30% drop in value, guess what? your income dropped substantially, plus your assets are going to accelerate their decumulation, or you're going to have to reduce the amount of income that you take out, or you're just simply going to have to push off that being able to retire. Of course, that's the benefit of annuities. I'm not a huge annuity salesperson, but that is one of their advantages. And there are other products that we use, platforms that we use that help they have an automatic downside protection. But point of the story is video series came from my RICP studies, and it was just going to be a couple of videos. And what it came about is actually 12 videos. So we created this whole series, the top 10 planning mistakes that will keep you from retiring well, and what you can do about them. I had no concept when I started this that I was going to make a video series, but we've had so many people watch this for free, gets our name out in front. Plus, I can just take one or two of these things, send it off, boom, hey, watch this one. I think you might find this helpful. And then Clever Olha, our marketing manager, made this little flyer that we can give out to folks that are listening to us when we're talking about retirement. Community events. Well, it feels like we've had COVID with us forever, but it's only been a little bit over a year, about 14, 15 months. And in March last year in California, we got shut down. So we couldn't go into the office anymore. And so I thought, gosh, if that's happening to us, what about all the other businesses that are having employees? How do we keep them from losing tens of thousands of jobs here in our community in San Diego and beyond? So in 10 days, we organized a week-long webinar series, an hour a day, sometimes one a little longer, of 17 subject matter experts, including a retired SEAL team captain, a family psychologist dealing with the crisis that people were going through, one of the top health professionals, elected officials, you name it, we had them. And it was we were so well received. We had over 250 unique emails that people that were with us most every day, and or at least watched one or two events, but most of them were with us the entire week. So we've got great content also on our website. Wasn't planning on it, but it's just one of those things that happens because you get intentional and you pull it together and people want to help you. Last thing is maximize your membership in NAIFA and other organizations. Give back, sit in on the meetings, be an officer. I mean, the people that get the most out of an organization are the ones that give and volunteer. And while I've not been as involved in NAIFA as I would like to be, although again, I found out I've been a member for 44 years or something like that. But in MDRT, I've been in so many different committees, both as a member and chair, and that's where you really grow and learn. I've led a study group here for 12 years in San Diego because I want to learn. And it's invariably when you're the one that's leading, you're the one that's learning the most. So get involved, make a difference, and give back. And you can never give more away than you receive in return. So I've got hopefully some time that we're going to share a few gems along the way, but I'm going to turn this back over to my friend, Stephen Kagawa. And Stephen's going to walk us through and see if there's some questions that have come in along the way we can take a little bit of time with. So Stephen, anything that's on people's minds?
Yes, if Stephen can do his technology well.
Well, hello.
RJ's ripping it to us. Thank you so much, RJ. What a number of ideas. And so I want to just invite everyone to jump on your chat and Q&A and ask the questions that are important to you, because this is all about you and what's important to you. So I just want to say how amazing it is. You're already ahead of schedule, and RJ has given you a bunch of ideas. I mean, I loved your initial thought.
You were worried. I know you were worried, but okay, I got that.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of stuff, but I really loved your initial thought about being authentic, and then John Savage's reminder that it's not the company that you work for, but the company you keep that makes a difference. And you've already given us so many fantastic ways to help us be even more successful. But I just wanted to know, so when it came to that, changing your tribe and whatnot, how was that? Was that a challenging thing for you? Did you purposefully look for some certain people? What did you do to capture that?
Well, it became even more challenging than I thought it might. One, I'm extremely loyal. That's one of the things that is one of my personal characteristics. is that I'm extremely loyal to people, sometimes even to my own danger or detriment. But I just believe the best in people and I see the best in people. So I actually have to surround myself with people who maybe aren't quite so optimistic so they can say, you know what, it might be a little, we should probably do a deeper dive on that person first. But one of the things that happened is the agency manager that hired me into the business left and a new agency manager came in, and he insisted that I could go ahead and go on my own if I wanted, but if I was going to keep a contract, I had to produce X level of production. And I just said, John, I can't guarantee you what level of production I'm going to do. I will use the company when I feel it's the right decision, but I can't tell you right now. And so basically they canceled my contract. And I had a contract, I didn't know it at the time, but I had a contract that did not, so I got to keep my first year commission and my second year's renewal, and I lost everything else. So I literally left hundreds of thousands of dollars behind by making the decision to move ahead. But I really felt in the long run, for me professionally, to grow the way I needed to grow, but also to be able to work with clients in a way that I felt was uncluttered, that I didn't have someone saying, you have to do this, have to do that. I really felt like I had no other choice but to go and create my own identity, go and join my mentor and the other two, and then move to San Diego and start all over again with basically no income. Fortunately, though, I had a significant amount of cash values in my life insurance, and I had also a significant amount of savings. And that's what got us through our time. Sorry, I'm getting.
No, you're singing my song. I did the same thing, RJ. We have so many things in common, and just as a recap, here's what opening doors it's opening doors for RJ: coffee and wine connections, handouts, social media, automated emails, monthly newsletters, podcasts and interviews, video series, community events, industry and organizational memberships. Really important, to understand all the cool things that he's doing. And I got a question here on, tell us a little bit more about your video series and how that's working out for you, and how does that really work?
Great. Well, again, remember, it was not planned to be video series. Originally, I was just going to record a couple of, and we recorded some videos just over an iPhone. And so my marketing manager came in the office. We just put it up on an iPhone and started thinking, you know what? There's probably more we can do with this. And so we hired someone who is a friend of ours, who's a professional videographer, and ended up costing $6,500 ultimately. And so we went to a professional setting. We had all the toys. I mean, this guy has everything. And so it's kind of like when you hire somebody to come and work on your house, you're going, I don't have that tool. I don't have that tool either. And they're done in 15 seconds, and it's because they got the right tools. So a lot of the videos that we shot, we were able to shoot literally on the first take or second take. That was it. We didn't have to go and do 8 or 10 takes on them. I had an outline. So I wrote the outline of the talks that I wanted, or the points that I wanted to make. He put them in the camera. So I literally just had to look at the camera lens, and I could they would scroll it, and I would see what I had written out, and then just basically talk my way through the presentation. But you can go to the website and you give me your score. But I've had a lot of people say, gosh, that was amazing. I've learned so much from that.
And RJ, how are you promoting that? Are you utilizing that as a push?
Well, again, it's on our website. We have a whole, if you go to wealthlegacygroup.com and go to the video section, you will see a massive amount of content there. What we do is we just typically will put it on LinkedIn. So for a couple times a year, my marketing manager will take each of those videos, post it on LinkedIn for content. And of course, there's a link for people then to go to our website and see all the additional stuff we've got. We have a presentation on buy-sell agreements that has been so powerful, with both a valuation expert who's a good friend of mine and a business attorney who's another good friend of mine. And so that we send out to prospective clients, or when I'm talking with a client about the need for buy-sell, key man insurance, so forth, I just send them the video and say, hey, watch this. This will be really helpful for you. So it means that I don't have to just duplicate or reduplicate efforts. No, got great content with, I'm a pretty good speaker most of the time, but I bring in amazing other speakers that make me look good. You know, that's what they say, that there's a California diet. You can eat anything you want, anytime you want. You don't have to count calories, nothing. All you do, you just hang out with fat people and you just automatically look skinnier. You know, so I mean, that's what I do is I don't say a lot. I just hang out with really smart people like Stephen Kagawa and others. And people just, you know, RJ must be smart because he's hanging out with smart people. But that's how we use this content is we send it out to our clients. We put it on LinkedIn. We put it on, I don't Facebook, but my our marketing manager does. So she puts it on Facebook. We put it out on Twitter. We take our quote actions and we put it out on Twitter every single day. We also put it on LinkedIn every single day.
Cool.
So that's how people are finding us, is because of the stuff we're putting out there.
Great. So now you talked a little bit about your coffee connection and the wind down events, and what different occupations or professionals are you do you look to invite to these events?
Great question. Great question. So we always want to have CPAs there. Typically, our preference is tax CPAs, but there are certain other types of CPAs, more on the consulting side or consultative side, that we want to invite. We want tax attorneys there, but also divorce attorneys are a great source of business because they're in front of spouses that are busting up, and those spouses usually have some money they're walking away with. So in fact, I have a very good buddy of mine that manages about $135 million of assets. A lot of his business comes from divorcing clients. And so he has divorce attorneys in all the time and just tells them the story, and they send a lot of referrals over. We oftentimes will have some of the top individual real estate agents, because part of my practice, one of my subspecialties, is being able to show them how to sell appreciated assets without paying tax, either ever or at least not for 30 years. Under President Biden's new proposal, they're probably going to do with 1031 exchanges, which we can sell an asset, exchange it, not pay tax, or you defer the tax. That's probably going away, or it'll go away above a certain dollar amount. So there are 6 to 7 different techniques you can use. Some of them are philanthropic, some of them are not, that are alternatives to doing a 1031 exchange. So we're also experts in that area. So we get a lot of referrals coming in increasingly from that part of the business. And then from that, we can either write insurance, we can put investments, or we, as an independent registered investment advisor, we charge fees for our work as well.
So it's not just about reaching out for relationships. You got to know what you're doing and have that differentiator, eh? RJ, good stuff. Getting asked, I know that you're involved in a number of, you've read a lot of books, and you've been part of helping author books and giving, criticizing books in a book club. And, what are you some of the suggested reads, maybe 3 or 4 or 5, that you'd kind of encourage the audience, all of us to consider reading?
Sure. Well, the number one book you should pick up is called Aloha Financial Advising. It's by a renowned international author by the name of Stephen Kagawa. Great, great book. I'm also an Audible guy. So I listen to Audible all the time, usually daily, 30 or 40 minutes. I'm just finishing one called Habits for Happiness by an Australian psychologist, Dr. Happy, as he's called. There's a wonderful book by a phenomenal estate planning attorney that is a great tool to use with families in helping identify what their value system is. His name is David York, but the book is called Riveted, 44 Values that will basically, let's try to start reading it to me now. I've actually just also signed up for a course on emotional intelligence. Remember what I said, be a lifelong learner. So I just signed up for a course on emotional intelligence, and I'm reading a book on emotional intelligence, which is, again, the research shows that in a successful company, IQ only goes so far. Those that have a high IQ reach a point where it actually becomes a negative. But those who have a high IQ, but who especially have a high EQ or emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, there's no stopping. Those are the ones that are the most successful leaders. Another book I just finished called How Happiness Happens. These are books that are more on my personal reading list, but I can tell you, let me just tell you the game changer book. It's such a good book called Tiny Habits. Tiny Habits. It's written by a Stanford professor. I'm telling you, that book it's probably on my top 5 books in a lifetime, Bible #1, and then a couple other books down below that. But Tiny Habits is that good. And it's about changing little habits and how that leads to other habits that just become overwhelming. It's a phenomenal book. So that one, also the book called Atomic Habits, is another good one by James Clear. And we read both of those in our study group. And as you know, Stephen, because you're part of it. So we get a new book about every 6 weeks or so. And then we just round robin and read the books and challenge each other about what did you get away from the book. So great stuff. It said that we are today who we will be 5 years from now, except for the books we read, the people we meet, and I would add to that, in the videos that we watch and listen to. We are today what we will be 5 years from now, but for the people we meet, the books we read, and the videos and classes and things that we expose and listen to.
Great. It's great stuff, RJ. Yeah, I want to tell everybody that you can ask more questions in the chat. That's where I'm pulling down some of the questions that you've asked. Thank you for sending them over. There's also a attendee survey that we'd like you to complete. We're always trying to learn new opportunities or new ways of delivering better stuff to our membership. And so please make sure you take the time to complete that survey. And then I think there's a link or two that's coming up on the books that RJ's talking about and recommending for you to read. So, I mean, RJ, you've really given us a perfect array of strategic ingredients. I feel like it's like you're teaching us how to make the most amazing of chocolate sundaes, although it's financial planning. And, we're all making our way towards being mayors of our financial towns. We certainly want to be it like you, and we can see why you're so successful. You're so active. You're so positive. You're so insightful. You are just hitting it out of the ballpark with new opportunities and differentiators, and just psychology and the way you set things up. How's about giving us a chair or two to put on top of it all, a few final gems to bring us home. I know you got a number of them, so can you go ahead and give us a few that you think really resonate for you and would be a real value to us?
Absolutely. And Stephen, thank you for those kind words. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that are listening, I'm so honored that you would take time to be with us today. Because I'm frankly, I'm a nobody. I'm nobody special. I just happen to love what I get to do. I consider it an honor and privilege to get to serve the people that we get to serve. My client base is primarily business owners and highly compensated executive and professionals. Hasn't always been that way. Trust me, anybody who would talk to me in the early years and listen to me, or that I could ask questions of, that's where I started. And as I said, I worked a lot of hours. Now, I'm not sure I did it very smart, and I'm not sure I'm advising anybody to spend 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's just unhealthy. But become a student of the business, become a student of the people that you're with. And if we always stay focused and concentrate on how can I add value to the conversation? I mean, I've quit a number of different boards that I've been on over the years, because I started asking myself the question, am I really adding value to this conversation? Or is this something that there are outcomes that I'm excited about and feel proud about? And if that's not the case, then I resigned from the board and started my own nonprofit along with a couple other friends that were, as Stephen was saying, for 12 years, we had an enormous impact in our community because we were focused on the things that I could get excited about. Because I've had a number of times now that I've been speaking so far this year to audiences that have been frustrated by being in COVID. They've been in shutdown and lockdown. And so I was asked to present to a group in Mexico. It's the largest insurance company in all of Latin America, that were struggling with this issue of being under lockdown. And so I just reminded of something that I learned years ago. And again, it's something I need to be reminded of. And that is, people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. In a moment, I'm going to share with you why you shouldn't ask someone how you are doing or how are you. Don't ask them that question. I'm going to give you something instead to ask. But it's said that when people come into this business, we come in with starry-eyed enthusiasm. That's the first level. I mean, we don't know anything, but boy, are we excited about it. And so anybody that will breathing, we will go over and talk with them about the insurance or investments or whatever. Okay, that's the first stage. And if we keep at it long enough and you study and you grow and you learn, and you hang around smart people like Stephen Kagawa and others, you get to the second stage. Well, that second stage is complicated sophistication. Yeah, I got a bunch of credentials after my name. And boy, there were times in my career where I wanted you to know that. I wanted you to know how smart I was. And unfortunately, that turns off a whole lot more people than it ever turns on. So if we keep at our craft long enough and recognize that our learning is so that we can be better advisors, that we can bring more to the table, bring more value, hopefully we get to that third stage, that third phase of our professional career. That's called mature simplicity. Mature simplicity, not starry-eyed enthusiasm, but stay enthusiastic if you love your business. Not complicated sophistication, but no, it's about mature simplicity. And so that's where it leads to these questions that I found. And this is kind of a unique thing to me. And I was written up in an MDRT blog. Don't start with a question with how are you? I'd like to suggest there's a couple other questions to ask instead. And I ask people, what are you excited about? What are you having fun with? What are you looking forward to? And I ask it just like that. No pause, no break, with a smile on your face. Because guess what? When you smile, the immediate reaction, the reflexive reaction is automatically they're going to smile. So what are you excited about? What are you having fun with? What are you looking forward to? And ask with sincere desire to know. It can't be fake because people can smell that a mile away. No, it really needs to be sincere. And then you listen. You don't say anything. You just wait and listen. And I've had so many times people will say, wow, what a great question. Because let's face it, a lot of people are really struggling right now. So for them, it gives them a chance to pause and reflect on things that really are going pretty good. And I've had some people say, well, I'm just excited about getting out of the house. Or we just had our first our grandbaby. And so it was his 1-year birthday party. That's pretty exciting for us. We've got a trip coming up that we're excited about. There's all kinds of things that people are feeling excited about. And when they share that with you, it's privilege to hear that. And number two, it gives you an insight into who they are. And then follow up with this question, because it's not just good stuff out there. I ask, well, are there any joy robbers going on right now? How about anything keeping you awake at night? And then again, just wait and listen. So try that. I'm here to tell you, I don't guarantee much, but I'm here to tell you that's going to rock your world. You're going to love that. You're going to love the answers you get. Next idea is to use an agenda with all of your meetings. I've had so many times, I'm not overly organized. I mean, I can be if I have to be, but left to my natural resources, I'm a real random guy if you haven't picked that up yet. But one of the things that taught me years ago, and I've been doing it faithfully ever since, is to have an agenda for all of my meetings. And sometimes it's more formal than others, but what are the kind of things that you do? Well, we have a formal agenda that's already prepared for business owners, one for centers of influence, one for professionals, one for investors. And it just simply starts with the opening question: what would be a terrific outcome for our time together today? And I'll literally start with that. I said, I took the liberty of putting together an agenda because I respect your time. And so there's only really one question on that matters. All the rest of it is not as important as the first one. The first question is, what would make this an important outcome? What would make this a valuable outcome for you, for this investment of time that you're making? And secondly, how much time do we have available to get those things done or talked about? Now, what I've started doing is I've actually started emailing those questions out in advance of the meetings. And I'm finding that is so helpful to get that and prepare for that. It gives me more things that I can have available as handouts or other things. So plan and include an agenda. And what else do you put on there? Well, this is kind of an adaptation of Dan Sullivan, but if we're meeting 3 years from today, what absolutely has to happen over those next 3 years for you to feel like those 3 years have been exciting, rewarding, meaningful, and especially they have to be fun, especially if you're with Stephen Kagawa. It's got to be fun. It will be fun if you're with Stephen. But anyway, in addition to that, I ask, well, what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now? And what are some of your best opportunities? Again, because remember, I'm working primarily with business owners or highly compensated professionals and executives. And then what are your strengths that allow you to achieve those objectives? I know we're closing on time, so I want to just give you a few more. And this one is an idea that, as far as I know, it's my own idea. So don't let that scare you. But anyway, it's the busy letter, what I call it. And I don't know, am I the only one that has trouble getting clients or prospective clients to return your call or return an email? Am I the only one? I kind of think not. I kind of think there may be one or two out there that have that. So this is what we came up with years ago. And it works. And some of the reactions are hysterical. So if you've called and followed up with someone as they asked you to, and they're just not returning your call or your email, then you send them a letter, self-addressed, postage paid. I've left several messages following up on the idea we discussed regarding your insurance or whatever it is that you're supposed to be following up about them about. And because they're not responding, so I've got an ideal solution. It would be an ideal solution for your situation. And I've designed something, if it still interests you, I've designed something that is a letter for busy doctors like you. And so the first box is keep trying. I may not be able to return your call, but try calling in between. And so now I've got an idea. Now I know when I can call them. Second option, RJ, now is not a good time. I'm under pressure, but get back to me after such and such. I mean, again, tell me yes, tell me no, just don't tell me maybe, which is the third one, where I say, please don't ever call again. I don't want to talk to an Irish CLU CHFC that uses initials instead of a real name. Now, yes, RJ has been my nickname since I was a month old, but just have some fun. I don't care what you put in there. Obviously, don't put in the Irish CLU if you're not Irish and you're not a CLU, and if you don't use initials, but just have some fun with it. And I've gotten back letters most of the time. They're check boxes in the one or the second one, but people check off all three boxes. And for the most part, again, it's tell me yes, tell me no, don't tell me maybe. There's a bunch of people to talk to. So if somebody wants to say, RJ, that's okay, I'm all taken care of, fine. And I probably won't ever follow back up with them again because there's a whole lot more people to see. Okay, this is one of my favorite ones for asking for referrals. This is not for me. But that's where, when you have this brand new client, you've made them a client and you're having a great time with them, and you say, hey, how have we done for you so far? I mean, are we responsive? Are you appreciating or valuing what we've done for you so far? And they're probably going to say, yeah, you've done a great job. And then you kind of look down and you take a breath and you kind of, say, well, actually, I lost a great referral because of you. And then pause and look at them with a very sad face. And they're going to go, what happened? And then you say, well, you're a client now. You're not a referral. So I think the least you could do is replace yourself. And so then you ask them, okay, well, and they're going to laugh, you laugh, and it's all good. But then you can ask, well, how are some of the most successful friends you have? Now, by the way, if you've done a good job on your fact find, you already know the answers to the questions I'm going to show you, and I'll show you the fact find in a minute. But who do you know that owns a business that's doing very well? Now, here's a key question. This is a golden one. If you ask nothing else on this, this was a golden one. Who sells to you? Who do you buy from? Because again, most of my clients are business owners, but you can ask that for anybody. Who do they do their dry cleaning with? Who's their dentist? Who's their attorney? Who's their CPA? They're not going to take a chance of offending their client by not seeing you. So if you find out who's selling to your clients, guess what? You've got some doors that are open in there for you. And then you ask them, what are some of the nicest things you can tell me about them? And you write it down. And that way you already feel like you've already started getting to know them. So when you call them on the phone or however you follow up, whatever your choice is, you already know them a little bit. Now, power of gratitude. What to do just before you walk into a meeting, whether it's at an office, whether they're coming into your office, whether you're going into a home. And I believe it's so important for us to be grateful and thankful. When somebody asks me, RJ, how are you doing? I'll say, I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And that's truly, it's a reminder to me, but it's interesting also how people respond to that, because they usually step back because they weren't expecting it. So you know what? I'm grateful and thankful too. We have so much to be thankful for here in America, and we just take it for granted so often. So before you walk into that office, before you walk through the door, just pause for a minute. think about the many, many blessings in your life that you have, whether it's a healthy family, whether it's your own personal health, whether it's the privilege of serving others. I open every morning in our 15-minute, we call our daily huddle. I open that time with prayer. I have everyone's permission to do that. And one of the things I always include is just thank Lord for the privilege of serving other people, that we get this wonderful profession, that we can make a difference in the lives of others. And then after you finish giving thanks, while you reflect all the blessings in your life, then you walk into the office, and that smile that's still on your face is like a beautiful sunset if you're over in Stevens, Hawaii. It's an amazing thing. So I'm going to close with these last couple ideas. One of my real estate development clients said, RJ, you make your money in real estate when you buy it, not so much when you sell it. So you want to buy it at a discount. And same thing, I thought, you know what, that's true in our profession as well. It's the quality of the questions that I ask, getting to know them better than any other advisor has ever come to know them over time. And before I can pour any water into a barrel, I first have to get water out of the barrel. Okay, so a successful close begins with a great fact find. That's where we focus more above the planning horizon, where we focus on their mission, their vision, their values, their goals, really understanding what they're afraid of, what's keeping them awake at night. And at that same point, we then, at least initially, don't spend as much time below the planning horizon in the tools, techniques, and strategies. Now, a lot of guys like to go there first. So you need to ask their permission, gently but firmly. Hey, we're going to get there, but would it be okay with you if we really just focus a little bit more above the line so I understand better who you are and what's important to you? Trust me, we'll get down there below the line, the tools, techniques, and strategies. But would it be okay with you if we stay a little bit longer up above the planning horizon? Because remember this, 86% of people out there statistically really don't care what time it is or how the watch works. They just want to know, what time is it? Now, for the 14% that do, in fact, want to know how the watch works, you better be ready for them. So get clear on which group your client fits into. But again, most people really just want to know what time it is. So as a recap, I'll talk to you a little bit about my path, and it's unique, maybe, but maybe not as much as I think it might be. But the most important thing there is I just want to remind you, be authentically you, whatever that is, whoever that is, be who you are. And you'll have the most fun, and your clients will appreciate that the most. I share with you a little bit about what's been working for me now. Also shared some ideas that others have shared with me, a few that are I can call my own. But the fact is, in this business, we get to hang out with incredible people. That's why you need to be in NAIFA. That's good for you that you're a member. And other organizations, $1 Million Roundtable. I just joined a producer group this year, elite producer group, and where I'm surrounded by people that are great thinkers. And again, like my friend Stephen, that I learned from, and where we can help each other while we're helping others. And so with that, I just thank you again for the great honor of being able to be with you today. I hope you found at least a few of the ideas helpful. Stephen, you know, I'm a huge raving fan of who you are as a person, what you do in making a difference in the lives of the clients you serve. And again, I'm so grateful to NAIFA for the years, or NALU, I guess is how it started for us, National Association of Life Underwriters. It's NAIFA now, but we're grateful for this organization that is keeping things together and looking ahead. And without NAIFA, we would, all of us, probably no longer have a profession. So NAIFA, thank you so much. And with that, I want to close with that leadership is neither a position or title. It's an action. It's an example. And that's what NAIFA is all about, leading by example. There's an old African saying that says, if you want to travel quickly, okay, go alone. But if you want to travel far, go together. And that's what being a member of NAIFA is all about. With that, thank you so much. God bless. It's been a wonderful honor on my part. Thank you for letting me be with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual standing ovation for Mr. RJ Kelly. Wasn't he amazing? Fantastic stuff, RJ. As we close, I want to thank each of you for being a part of our NAIFA Nation. Your legislative advocacy protects all financial professionals and the people and companies we serve who count on us to help them find life fulfilled. I want to thank MDRT too for bringing the best of the best together, to bringing RJ together with me, to help us be even better in how we build and manage our practices and deliver our consultative expertise and financial wisdom to a grateful world. And boy, am I grateful for what RJ has shared with us today. So on behalf of all of us, let me thank you, RJ, for sharing so many of your impactful beliefs and methods of success that's helped you find and live your life of purpose and significance. You make us all NAIFA proud. With that, I bid all of you aloha and mahalo. My love and gratitude to you all.